Is it going to be a Bitcoin focused cycle or an altcoin focused cycle? This one. Bitcoin or altcoins? What's it going to be? I want to know. You probably want to know too. And that's why you're my friend and we're going to talk about it today. So, something interesting I noticed. I observe things differently than most people can't. I don't know why. It just happens, right? So, we're going to go through this. Let's change it to a monthly. All right. In the previous Bitcoin cycles, this is a Bitstamp chart, doesn't have everything, but we don't need to see it. You've got, in 2013, this was what I call a Bitcoin cycle. Bitcoin strength. Okay. I'm going to prove to you why, and you're going to like it because we have evidence. So you can't see it on this chart, but obviously there was a double bubble here. If we go back to the weekly, there was a double bubble. It was insane Bitcoin strength. Insane. Look at these green candles. Insane. It killed it, man. It killed it, you know. 100x. So when it was altcoins, where did altcoins start here? Believe it or not, altcoins were in the background. I think Litecoin got made around here, but alt season only happened in 1 month. November 2013. How do I know this? I went back, I checked all the altcoins that existed. You can go check it, Litecoin. Go check it up right now, and you will see. Oh, you know what? Why are we waiting? Let's go do it right now. Why are we even waiting when we can see it right now? We're going to go back to Litecoin, November 2013. You're going to see the absolute... Oh, look at this chart. Whoa, 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 whoa. See, that's why you listen to me, man. You're listening to the greatest. You're not going to get this anywhere. This is insane. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. So, let's just say it hit $50, and it started at, yeah, $2, $1. Wow. Bang. 25x in a month. There you go. Wasn't really much, but you get the point, man. Insane. I think it was 10x literally 1 month. So, other altcoins did the same thing too. It was literally just 1 month. Can you believe it or not? From November 1st to November 30th, that's it. That was the old season. So that's why I categorize this cycle as a Bitcoin strength cycle. Because altcoins were only this little phase here, and it was Bitcoin love, Bitcoin strength. Let's continue, okay? Let's continue. We're going to clone this because in this cycle, 2017, this was altcoin strength. You know, more specifically, it was actually Ethereum strength. But I'm going to write Ethereum strength altcoins. Let's just write that there. And it will be a nice, juicy purple. And it will be a lighter purple than that. So, Ethereum strength cycle. There were times here, so Bitcoin starts leading. And if you check the chart, which is, you know, I've done this hours and hours of work, friends. Like thousands of hours doing this. There were times where Bitcoin leads, it stops, and then Ethereum was pumping, and it dragged Bitcoin up, and they took turns, right? So, this is insane. This is an Ethereum strength altcoin cycle. ICOs did 50x, 100x, Digibyte did 400x. So many coins absolutely killed it. It was focused on Ethereum altcoins. So, first one was Bitcoin. Second one was altcoins. So, I noticed this when I came to crypto, right, around here. And I was, you know, thinking, because, man, I was thinking about the next bull market here. Literally at the bear market lows. I was thinking about up here. All the way here. Right, you got to get ahead of the crowd. And that's why you're listening to me. So, when I'm thinking here, I didn't know what the future held. But then the Ponzi plus token pump happened. The absolute pump to the heavens. I want you to know, you can draw a fib. You can do this little Fibonacci here. And it's very interesting, right? If you draw this fib from top to bottom, Bitcoin retraced back to the 61.8%. So, that's a fancy way of saying we retrace all the way down to only 40% down from the top. But let's be specific here. Let's try to get the real numbers. Because Bitcoin hit really a 20k top. The real numbers, yeah. Around the 40%, 45%. if you want to be super conservative, it's around halfway, you know, around halfway. So you could have comfortably exited your Bitcoin at 10K here, comfortably. Yes, it traded at 13K, but don't worry about these weeks and these closes. So 10K, you had a couple of weeks, couple of chances. During this time though, Ethereum did not retrace this much. Let's go and check Ethereum because we're friends. Once again, we're going to have a look here. I remember this. So Ethereum, right? So let's draw a fib from the Ethereum top to the bottom. Bang. If Ethereum was as strong as Bitcoin, it would have went up to about $800 to be conservative, around $800. But it only stopped. It nicked 388 and then you had to sell $300. Very, very weak. And obviously, if you check the ETH BTC chart, ETH BTC was bleeding during this time because, you know, Bitcoin was going up. Ethereum was weak to Bitcoin because the plus token Ponzi, you know, that's just how the universe works. The story it wanted to write was Bitcoin was recovering first. And that's just how it played out. So, you know, if Ethereum was as strong as Bitcoin, it would have retraced all the way to like $800, which it didn't, you know, it went... Man, it only retraced 80%, you know, so crazy, right? And many altcoins did the same. Every altcoin did this. So I have other ones. ChainLink is a special case. I was going to look at ChainLink. You can even check Doge out. What did Doge do? 2018 here, man. Doge was also doing nothing. I mean, you can see Doge was still 83% down from the top. Like, this is what it was like, actually. This is what it was like. You're watching these. Like, these things could barely move. You know, maybe 2 to 3x. Coins couldn't move as well that much, right? So you can even check. Let's look at Cardano as well. I want to have a look at Cardano. Something that moved very, very strongly in the bull market. See, even then, man, this is dangerous. Like, this is bad, you know. Cardano could only move 200% off the low. Remember, Cardano's top was... Man, it hit like $1 something. Let's just say the top was around $1. Even though it hit $1.40. Look at that, man. It only retraced. Oh, we got to put this on a log chart. That's how deep, that's how nasty it is, man. If we do a fib, you can just draw 40% down. So if Cardano kept up with Bitcoin, it should have gone to 80 cents. Instead, in the 2019 recovery rally, it barely touched 10 cents. You know, it's at 7 to 8 cents. Crazy, right? Look how high it was supposed to be if it caught up with Bitcoin. So I've now shown you all these examples where this, when I was watching this, I was like, okay, damn, I think this is going to be a Bitcoin focused cycle. Now, I didn't know how to describe it. I didn't know, you know, is it Bitcoin focused? Is it Bitcoin heavy? I don't know what it was. And this is where my whole goal was to make money on alt, ETH and everything and accelerate Bitcoin and then rotate back out. But the story didn't play out exactly like that because, you know, Bitcoin's returns are diminishing so hard against Ethereum. The Ethereum prophecy has not played out fully yet. We're still long based off Ethereum because ETH BTC didn't hit the target. So it's still an ongoing journey, you know. To summarize it, what I thought would take 4 years is probably now going to take an extra like 3 or whatever to 2025. That's a short version of it. So I was watching this cycle and I looked at this behavior. And Bitcoin absolutely crushed it. So I'm going to watch Bitcoin Strength, maybe. Because we want to live through this day by day. I want you to live it with me. I want you to feel, you know, because you got to absorb information coming in. And we want to identify, is something changing the big picture or not, you know? So maybe Bitcoin Strength. And then what happens was, yeah, DeFi season, COVID, all this stuff. And then this part happened. So unfortunately, Bitcoin did not show the strength we thought it would show. But we might have to just reinterpret how we gauge information from what we call strength, you know? Is it strength from diminishing downside, you know? Because it's not strength from, you can't label it strong because it didn't even hit 100K, right? Another way to look at it is Bitcoin, like, held up a lot of value more than like another time. Maybe that's not one way to look at it, because if you do look at ETH BTC chart, which let's go look at it now. Let's look at ETH BTC chart. So what I'm calling Bitcoin strength, it's around here, you know, this cycle, right? Around Bitcoin strength. So in the previous 2017 cycle, look at what happened. So Ethereum could absolutely murder Bitcoin, right? It could absolutely murder it. And like you had some huge moves. 15x on your Bitcoin on a straight line, which is enormous, right? Because Bitcoin did 100x itself back then, $200 to 20K. So you see all these big vicious moves, right? Big vicious moves. I'm looking at the green parts here. Green parts here. We didn't get that. We got much smaller ones. So now it's up to you, right? How are we gonna think about what we call Bitcoin strength? You know, is more blue chip safety, you know, but the main concept is still the same. Main concept is I'm labeling it Bitcoin strength just so we can pay attention, you know. Maybe Bitcoin sucked up a lot of the value relative to the other cycles this time versus 2017. You know, had Michael Saylor shilling it. It's trying to get the Bitcoin spot ETF. It's in the pub. It's in the spotlight, right? So this is subjective, but it's just something to think about. If we move on through time, right, to recap, the first cycle, Bitcoin strength. The second cycle, Ethereum strength. If you want to call this Bitcoin strength again, right? If you want to call it that, this cycle that we had, this top, maybe the next one is going to be Ethereum strength again. Maybe they're taking turns. That's just something I'm thinking about. And if they took turns, maybe, just maybe, it turns out that Ethereum retraces most of its move with the other altcoins. So that would imply this is a big number, right? So remember, if Bitcoin recovers back to its 61.8 retracement, which is what it did in 2019, it goes back to about 49K. But you have Mt. Gox, you got those other government institutions that have the Bitcoin ready to sell. You got the GBTC discount. You got a lot of just shadows for Bitcoin, right? That 140,000 Bitcoin. I know we can eventually get through it, but it makes you think about it. It makes you think about looming supply out there for Bitcoin, right? And I mean, compared to Ethereum's burning up all the Ethereum, right? From the network, and Bitcoin is nowhere near as deflationary as it. So maybe, just saying, maybe Bitcoin doesn't hit that 49K, which is the 61% retracement. Maybe it only gets to like 36K. You know, that's just something I think about. Maybe it only gets to around here in that recovery wave of up to 2024. Okay, so I'm going to delete this fib. I'm just going to draw it. Maybe Bitcoin gets to 36K. Right, I'm going to write 36K. Remember, it's an Ethereum strength altcoins cycle. If I go to Ethereum, maybe Ethereum goes the full Monty. And maybe it's Ethereum's turn to shine, right? Maybe Ethereum, if we draw the fib again, Ethereum 61.8% is 3,400. So, I'm going to draw a box around 3,400 around here. Maybe Ethereum shocks us, right? Maybe, remember the merge was here. And if we walk forward 12 months to September, you know from me, I always tell you, when money supply shocks happen, that's just how they happen in human society. The biggest effect is about 12 months later. That's when because humans are very bad at measuring exponential terms with deflation or inflation and stuff. We're very bad as time stretches out because we think linearly. We don't think in exponential terms, average human. So a supply shock has huge effect a year later. Huge. And it's a triple halvening, right? So, hey man, maybe, it's a bit too, maybe we do get like a pop-up here. Maybe Ethereum goes that full way. And that would be the ETH BTC. Remember, if Bitcoin is around, 34K to 36K, and Ethereum's around 3,400, maybe ETH BTC hits 0.10. Perhaps. That's one way to look at it, right? So remember, I'm mapping all of these because I need you to see it with me. I'm going to show quickly the ETH BTC chart in the bottom right. We're going to have a look. ETH BTC, right? It's at 0.07. So, you know, maybe this is 0.10. Maybe that's what we see next year, man. Maybe we actually see that. Because I'm going off the idea, maybe this is an Ethereum strength cycle. And if that happens, perhaps, if Ethereum is the big daddy, bad daddy leading, Ethereum linked ERC20 coins, you know, everything around the ecosystem of Ethereum, maybe they recover more, right? Maybe Ethereum, Bitcoin lags, and maybe the altcoins recover with Ethereum. So they only go down to like, this is 40%, but I still feel that's so optimistic, man. Like, you know, maybe it taps there, maybe 50%. So this is ChainLink, for example. Maybe ChainLink goes to like $25 from its high. That's another way to think about it. Maybe actually ChainLink does that, you know? And then remember, we're guessing the Fed's got to pivot. US recession gets bad, then they have to print money again, right? But don't worry about that second part. It's just part of the what we think is coming next. So if this is an echo bubble, altcoins retracing more of the move than Bitcoin. And does this match up? I mean, if I want to bring up Bitcoin dominance as well. We're going to have a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart. This is the monthly. I mean, Bitcoin dominance is like falling off a cliff. It is absolutely falling off a cliff. So, is it possible, right? Next year, we see Bitcoin dominance go down. This is not Bitcoin strength. This was Bitcoin strength in that previous cycle. When Bitcoin was recovering, ETH BTC was going low. This Bitcoin dominance was going up. We should have been seeing Bitcoin dominance do this. If it was the same thing. That's just my opinion. I think if we were going to have a Bitcoin-focused cycle again, we would see Bitcoin dominance have... It should have started already doing this already. But it hasn't. Instead, it stayed down here during the bear market. So, perhaps this is another clue that it is a Ethereum / altcoin focused cycle. And remember, it is subjective. We're just trying to look at the clues here. We're trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. It kind of makes sense. Actually, to me, it makes a lot of sense. And to you as well. You got Ethereum's monetary policy. You got the merge. You have all these things lining up. Ethereum had the triple halvening, September 2022. You walk forward 1 year, September 2023. People are going to be burning, deflation, getting yield. We know we want all that. And Bitcoin's 5-year ROI sucks. 5 years, you've got a nothing. Man, there's just a lot of things talking about that, man. A lot of things. And then not only that, you know, in the weekly chart, Ethereum has this higher low and Bitcoin has a lower low down here. So there's so many signs there. There's just so many signs. You know, nothing's guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed. How do you play this? Well, how you would play it is, let's say you said, hey, how do I go balls deep on this? But I want to sustain any like leverage wipeout. You don't do any leverage, right? But you would have like literally no Bitcoin on this if you were playing this idea. If you're playing this idea, you have no Bitcoin because you have so many signs. Here's Hex, for example, and you can do this with any coin. If we're going to repeat the 2017 altcoin behavior when they collapsed, Hex would only go back up to around 8 cents in this scenario. So, but next year, Hex go back to 8 cents, come back down, do nothing. Oh, wow. And then like that. Very unfortunate. That's what it would do. That's just like what we have to. And then we got to hope something big happens. They print money and everything. That would be the 2017 scenario. So I'm going to write that down. That's green equals 2017, 2018 alt behavior. That's what it would be if we got that. And if I draw another color here, let's draw what would happen if it's... Let's draw what would happen if it is an Ethereum focused one. The Ethereum focused one, remember, would go around 50%. From 50s, around 25 cents. So you'd land around 25 cents. So it'll be something like this. That's what it would be. You know? And then, like, you end up at the same place. That's one thing you have to get on board with me. This box, you end up at the same place. The market always goes to where it's going to go. You always hear me say this saying, and it's true. Right? If you stretch out your duration of time, point A to point B, so from year 1 to year 5, you always end up at the same point in year 5. You do. It's just what you do in like month 5 and month 20 and like this period, 6-month period, 3-month period. That's what you don't know. That's the unfortunate part, but that's what makes it exciting as well. Right? Only exciting to the upside. So this pink part would be very exciting for us if we got that. If we got this green, if we got the green part, I'm just begging you, please don't play around with your portfolio. All right? Don't play around with your portfolio. Don't try to buy and sell or do any of this, okay? Because imagine you think it's the green part, but then it actually ends up being the pink. Now you're screwed. You're selling Hex at like 7 cents, or any altcoin, you know, your ChainLink, your Doge, your SHIB, everything. You're selling them down there, and then it heads at 25 cents, and now you're really screwed because you have nothing to get rid of, right? I don't like trying to time this, but I have drawn this scenario if it appears to us next year and we see this happening, because this ain't happening overnight. It's going to be month after month after month. There'll be like, you know, a snowballing burst of behavior. Then we'll think about that. Then we know, you know, if the Fed pivots, earnings goes down, maybe stock markets crash, then we can think about that. But they have to give us this price first. They have to give us a price we can't refuse. If they are given this green part, we don't do anything. Just like in Cardano, right? Just like you go back to Cardano. Let's look at ADA. You do not give it up down there, man. Under any circumstances down here. You don't give it up. It's just too low. Don't play around in this zombie shit fest. Don't play around. This is accumulation at any cost. Any cost. Right? So, if it plays out, this is Bitcoin strength cycle, right? Because this was 2019 bear market and 2020. And remember, my theory was, what we saw was a Bitcoin kind of strong, focused type of bull market. Even though there were Ponzi's and dogs and all this stuff, even though it was there. That's all I'm saying. It's you have to think about it subjectively, like throw a lot of quality in there. It's got nothing to do with like hard specific numbers, because you can dress anything up the way you want. So, to conclude, Bitcoin, we had a Bitcoin cycle strength, Ethereum cycle strength, then a Bitcoin cycle strength again. Maybe it's Ethereum's turn again. And if it is, Ethereum and the altcoins are going to go nuts. They're going to recover stronger. Maybe ETH BTC goes to 0.1. Maybe we do see an Ethereum flipping Bitcoin in the next 2 years, right? I kind of feel it will happen in 2024 because it'll be the 10-year anniversary of Ethereum, right? Or somewhere early 2025, around there. You know, it took them 10 years to flip Bitcoin, and I also believe the next one to flip it is only going to take 5 years because people are getting better at like deflationary mechanisms, all this stuff, right? So, I hope you learned something today. Until next time, friends, I love you, and we'll catch ya.